Alone, Season 4, Episode 10. This is the last episode for the contest to win the $500,000. There's only two teams left, Pete and Sam and Jim and Ted. And they're both struggling greatly. Both teams are having a really hard time with the cold and the hunger in particular, and just being away from family. It's starting to really wear on them. They just missed Christmas. Some of them are having a really hard time with that. And I was just shocked about how long it kept on going. These people didn't give up. And so my hat is off to every one of the contestants, but in particular, these last two groups. And on day 75, the game show was ended, and Jim and Ted were declared winners. And they were met by their girlfriends to tell them the news during a medical check. And so it's pretty interesting. I can't say, though, for a fact that I learned a lot or almost anything on this season, which is kind of like not a criticism at all. I just feel like that's just something that is just kind of more obvious. A lot of people are saying the same thing, that there just wasn't a lot of educational value like the previous three seasons. The producers they seemed to pick footage that was a lot more emotional based than skill based. And of course, it took 4 to 5 episodes just for the people to hike to meet up with their team member. And that really kind of cut into a lot of time as well on the show. So it's not just my opinion, but the opinions of everyone that I've talked to, and I mean everyone. Everyone prefers, and this is good if you're a producer or if you have something to do with the Alone show, to take heed of this. This is just information from the end user from watching these, watching all, at least for me, watching all of the episodes for all of the seasons, is that it would be best to go back to the original format. Doing the teams this season was interesting, but I think we need to go back to the roots before we lose the show. And so it does look like that season 5 was approved, so that should be interesting. I just hope we go back to the old format and not stick with the teams or try some other format that is radically different. So I just want to do this update because it's just interesting to see how people deal with stress and how people want to, get on with it when they are faced with challenges. And I think that over time, we do benefit from watching some of these shows. Some of the shows can be pretty gimmicky, That's why I gravitated toward the Alone show more so than any other show, because to me, at least, it represents the most realistic type of skill-based, I don't want to use the word survival per se, but it's the most generic survival show out there without it being true survival, if you know what I mean. So, we'll see what happens in the next season 5. And, 75 days. I mean, could you do 75 days, That's very good. That's very good. Of course, they were working together, these teams. So you almost wonder, did that help or hurt the situation? I almost wonder for these last two contestants, I think it helped. I think they lasted longer this way than that they would have if they were by themselves. That's just my theory on that. But I know there was probably other people earlier into the season that would have lasted a lot longer if they were by themselves, because if it wasn't for an injury or for people not being mentally prepared, they would have still been in the show. So I think it kind of goes both ways. But you kind of lose a lot of control over your odds of winning when you're relying on someone else to stay in the show. And so it did bring a good twist, though. I'm not going to lie. It was something that I was really kind of on the line about. And even though I don't prefer it all, it did bring a little flavor to the show. But once again, I don't think that the show should continue in this direction. And so season 4 of Alone, is in the bag. There is an episode 11, though. I believe it's a recap and possibly a reunion. I haven't seen that one yet, but if it's anything like season 3, it was like a reunion, and they went over some video clips, things that we've already seen if you've seen the episodes, and they had a little bit of commentary. So it might be fun to watch that eventually. But the one thing I want to also say, though, if you're like me and you don't have cable and you watch all these episodes through the History Channel's app, I was really upset about how some of the episodes were allowed to be viewed and other ones were not. So the ones that were blocked or locked out, I had to go elsewhere to find a copy to view, just to keep up with the movement of the season, to watch all the episodes. So I don't know why they want to block some and let some open. You either block them all or unlock them all. And that's the way I look at it. So it's real frustrating to try to watch and keep up with the show when you're using the app. So, am I going to watch this show again? Possibly in the future, especially if they go back to the original format. But I don't know. Sometimes I noticed that it was a real hassle to watch some of the episodes and just to keep up with the show. And unless it was just something that, was a little easier to do, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. And there's a lot of other people who are too. And so, but I'm lucky, and I feel like that I am pretty lucky to at least have the opportunity to watch for free the vast majority of the episodes within a few hours of it coming out on the app. So that's cool. I mean, most of their shows, they do not allow you to do that. So I'm not really sure why they did it for Alone and not on the other shows, but they did. So I'm appreciative, but it's kind of messed up is when you're watching, episodes and all of a sudden you get locked out, like, for example, on episode 7, they locked you out. And then episode 10 and 11 is locked out right now. So, well, at least at the time of filming. And so I had to go elsewhere to find that and watch it. So I don't know, they're making ad revenue. When you watch it, you have to watch tons of commercials just to get through that episode. So it's not like the History Channel isn't making any money off of you watching. It's just kind of one of those things of like, why make it a hassle? And I'm sure that they're probably wanting you to just eventually just get cable, buy cable so you can have the History Channel so they can make more money that way possibly. But whatever it is, it's interesting. The show in just its format about people trying to just stick it out as long as they can in a very hostile environment that most people would not literally make it a few days to a few weeks. I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I wonder how long I would last. Of course, you never really know unless you're there. Let's just be honest on my part. I don't want to belittle my abilities at all, but I just got thinking, I was like, man, I just don't think I could do 75 days. Maybe I could, but I just don't have the body fat to do it, I don't think. And I'm not saying that everybody was overweight, that did the contest that lasted long, but it sure did help. We saw that some of the contestants lost 65 or more pounds. And that was a little shocking. I'm not sure if that's actually that healthy to lose that much in that period of time, but they did. And so, I think that I could probably do a few weeks. I think I could probably do that. Maybe not easily, but I could do it. And beyond that, I think I would just have to see how I felt and if I was injured or not, or the temperature. I guess there's so many different variables of how hungry I was and so forth, but you just really don't know until you do it. So you can't be critical about these people, man, because I think that they all had a unique situation they were in. Some people were injured. Some people just couldn't handle it. Some people just literally were pushed to their limit, and they would have had irreversible, injury to themselves, maybe through starvation or other things, if they didn't leave. And or they may have had like regrets, that they were not with their family and stuff at certain times. So I think it's the show kind of just reminds us of what's important. And so, it just brings it back to the forefront of our mind of what is it that we want out of life. Thanks for watching. You guys take care.